The PC market is seriously in trouble right now. With the prices of PC components going through the roof and the impending buildup for the bubble that is the AI, please for the love of God burst, people are starting to stick with what they have because funds are tight and prices of them are going up. And yet what I technically did is a downgrade. Back in Christmas of 2023, I built what was my best computer at the time. It had a Ryzen 5 3600, 16 gigs of RAM at 3600 megahertz, and a GTX 1650. That's all I had. And I put it in a small form factor case and it fit perfectly on my desk. But in July 2024, I bought a Steam Deck OLED, the 512 version. And here it is. It comes with a very lovely carry case with a space in the back that I usually have the charger in. If I just wrap it around my hand, it fits in there really well. But I'm gonna take it out. Let's open up the case. Ooh. It's really big. And I don't know what Valve did, but holy fucking shit. If this isn't the most comfortable handheld I've ever used, I don't know what is. I mean, everything just melds in the hands perfectly. Everything just rests perfectly. I mean, obviously they had to have done a lot of testing to get something this comfortable. Let's turn it on. Makes a fun little beep. So quickly, the screen. I know in my last video on the Switch 2, I compared it to the Switch 2 screen. But just quickly as a recap, this screen is a 1280 by 800 90 hertz OLED panel. Now that resolution may sound kind of weird because that's not 720p, it's 800p. And yes, this is not a 16 by 9 display. It is a 16 by 10. And I promise you, you won't even notice it when you're playing games. Let's check out games I've installed. I've got all of the Call of Duties for zombies, Buckshot, Celeste, Factorio, Fishing Planet, all the FNAF games I'm replaying right now, all the Nekoparos because fuck it, why not? I haven't played them all. Peaks of Yore, which I don't really play in handheld mode, but I'll get to desktop mode in a minute. Plants vs. Zombies because I was replaying it, Web Fishing, and Uno. But that's not all. You can also add your own games, so I have added a few of them myself. I've got a 3D BTD6 game, a remote play for my PS5, FNAF World, Minecraft, Ultimate Yahtzee 1996, that one's funny, and Voices of the Void, which I have been playing on this. So how was I using this at the time? Well, in the first month, I was using it mostly at home, just trying to figure out, how I want to use it as a companion to my desktop computer. And for the most part, I took it with me to work. I worked at a local store. At the time, I played a lot of Factorio, but I also played a lot of custom Black Ops 3 Zombies maps, which is a lot of fun in and of itself. But of course, I didn't exactly play it at home because why would I play this at home when I have a slightly better desktop computer right beside me? But then I switched jobs to my current job. I work as the mechanic at a bowling alley. I oil lanes, fix the machines, and, lane mechanic shit, whatever you want to say. But here's the thing. It's filthy back there. I'm working with 3-step machines, lane oil. I don't want to get that shit all over my Steam Deck, and I don't exactly get designated breaks because a lot of the times I'm standing around anyways, so I don't take this with me to my current job. And for the first few months of work in there, I used the Steam Deck so little in comparison to my PC and PS5 that this thing was constantly dead because it just ran out of battery. Every once in a while, I would charge it up just to keep the battery up. Because why would I use this when I have a slightly better computer beside me? So I was in a dilemma. What do I use this thing for? Now, of course, there's desktop mode, but I only really used it when I had to, just because I was still new to Linux and I was just moving away from Windows on my actual computer by around the time that I got this. I was just using a basic Ubuntu install, and I was dual booting as well. That way, if I did need Windows for something, I could just go back to that. And I did hook it up to my monitor a few times. I had this really cheap dongle that had an HDMI out, so I plug it into there and HDMI out it into my computer, and it works, but the scaling in comparison was a bit off, and I didn't really take enough time to try to get around to it. But around December, I decided to do a little personal experiment. What would happen if I did use this as my dedicated computer? So I took out my cheap ass dongle and plugged it in and used it for a little bit. And I was in yet another dilemma. Why was I enjoying it? I mean, in my eyes, if I wanted to take this somewhere, here's my computer right here in the palm of my hands. It felt like I was having a fresh start, finally away from Windows, finally away from Windows ads, finally away from stinking OneDrive. Leave me alone, Windows, just let me use it. This just let me do that. And you wanna know the most fun part? Finding out how to get games to run well. Voices of the Void is one of the most demanding games that I play on this. And the most fun part was creating my own layout. How do I make this work? A game's controls that is not meant for a controller, how do I adapt it to a controller and make it comfortable? I mean, I can have a menu right here to do many different things. You just put your thumb on it and all of a sudden a bunch of options pop up. Or what about games that only use a mouse and keyboard? Those ones are a lot more simple. You just do WASD, and for a couple random buttons, you just put them with the bumpers. Who cares? Games like Buckshot Roulette, which I played in the video of me getting my legs waxed every time I got shot, literally only uses one thing, the mouse. Within the first couple weeks, I had basically made the decision that I want to try and move away from my computer for a month. I'll give it a month and see how it goes. So I decided to get the official dock. And yep, it's a dock. It's got DisplayPort and HDMI out, charger, Ethernet, and 3 USB ports. And the Steam Deck sits in it, and you plug it in. Bingo. And with that, the stage was basically set. Finally got an SD card so I could store some important files, and I was enjoying it so much. At times, it didn't even feel like I was using a Steam Deck. It just felt like a computer. And eventually, I decided that I just wanted to move in. But I do have some gripes. If I ever need to restart it, some of my games I have added in, like Voices of the Void, just won't launch. And they'll only launch if I go to desktop mode and reselect the file location. Maybe it's because it's on the SD card, because that's one of the games that's on it. But everything on this just makes sense. Best part is definitely this built-in store that it has. Not only does it automatically do updates, but you can search for apps. Apps like VLC Media Player, Discord, a Minecraft launcher, all of these things that I already have. One of the things that I've been doing more recently is ripping my dad's old CDs to put them on my iPod, which I'm gonna be making a video on pretty soon. And there it is right there. You can use this one if you want, but that's the one that I use. Every once in a while it'll crash, like with every 10 CDs or so, it'll freeze up and you have to restart the entire system. Little annoying, but small gripes. You can also get an actual Steam app, and whenever you want to go back, just click return to game mode. But on the topic of this being an OLED panel, what about the LCD? This one is my fiance's. Hers gets a pull tab, and you can see that they're slightly different on the inside. And hers gets a blue logo. Having the LCD and the OLED next to each other, I do prefer the brighter text on the buttons. Just a little bit more visible. But the sticks on this one are a lot better. They're more concave and rubbery compared to these, which I prefer. But you can also see that the panel is a little bit bigger. This one runs at 60 Hertz, this one runs at 90. And I can also show you the etched displays. Using a flashlight real fast, you can see how it becomes one big blob on my Steam Deck, but on hers, it dissipates across the whole thing. Just wanted to get that out of the way real fast. But there you have it. If you're looking for a cleanse from Windows and you have a Steam Deck, try using desktop mode for a little bit. Get a cheap dock. HDMI to USB-C, whatever, and just try it for a little bit. You might be pleasantly surprised. But hey, do you have a Steam Deck? What do you think of it? I personally fucking love mine. I mean, it's my computer. Of course I'm gonna like it. If you want to see my review of the Switch 2, you can watch this video here. If you want to see me shelf swap a Switch Lite, you can watch this video right here. If you want to subscribe, click on the Steam Deck. Catch you in the next one.